Alright, what's going on everybody? I hope you're having a great day and welcome to today's video on the channel. In today's video, I want to talk about raids in Wizard101 in the present day. Now, if you don't know, a lot of people are not really raiding anymore to this day, and there's a couple reasons for that. And I just want to break it down in today's video. So the first thing I want to bring up is the general burnout of raids. Now, when raids came out, they're honestly one of the biggest updates Wiz had in a while, and honestly is the most amount of fun I've had in years on this game. So Kingsaw really hit the mark with that. However, after a while, after people got their gear, after people got the best strategies, and we're getting 6 out of 7, 5 out of 7 successful runs in one key, I think people just really started to get burned out of it. I know me personally, I love to raid, but I've done it like around 200 times probably by now with our guild, and I'm just really tired of it at this point. I love it so much. I've done both outside and, obviously Vanguard, and swapped up the roles quite a bit. I want to get the 1% of the 1% badge on all my characters as well, but I'm not sure if it's still bugged right now, so we're not really going for that just yet. But yeah, I think people are just really burnt out of it. I think they've, already figured things out, and I think that they already have all their gear. Now, a solution I would propose to this is, maybe Kingsaw could make raids more dynamic in the future. So what I'm talking about that is, in the next raid, maybe every run you go in, something is different. I guess we do have things like the, pet token, but I'm talking about like, even like weather or like a maze even. Something a bit more impactful and, more dynamic. In my opinion, that would go a really long way with replayability, or even every week or every, 2 weeks, there could be like raid challenges or specific raid rewards. I think more incentives like that to keep people into raiding after they got all their gear and obviously are burnt out of it would be really good. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the Aeon gear audit. I've seen a lot of raiders complain about this, and I can honestly understand where they are coming from. Why would you run any of the raid gear that you worked for if the Aeon gear is just better in pretty much every department? So I do understand where the raid people are coming from there. Now, in terms of PvP, this Aeon gear change is pretty good. It's not perfect, but it is better than what we had. So there are improvements from the gear audit here. Obviously, raiders got the short end of the stick, but my point is here to illustrate that this gear change did affect PvP in mostly a positive way. But yeah, I don't really have a reason to, run like a void robe or a nullity robe. I guess a nullity robe for 160 is better than the Aeon cape for PvE specifically. But like, the other pieces like the boots and the hat and the theme and the ring, they're all just really underwhelming in my opinion, and I think they could probably make the raid gear better. Now, if they make the raid gear better, that would obviously piss off more casual players, Back, I think, when 150 was the cap, the raid gear is actually pretty decent. You could run it on some schools if you wanted to. And, some people were a little bit upset about that. But I would rather have the raid gear be actually worth going for than, just having it be, like, really bad, Because we have all these pieces of gear, right? But I'm never gonna use them, I'm never gonna use them in PvP because the stats are horrible, and I'm never gonna run it in PvE or in raids because, again, the stats are just not good compared to the Aeon gear set. So what I'd really like to see Kingsaw do is honestly just like crank up the stats a bit more on these raid pieces. Obviously, they have to stick to their template, I believe, but I don't know, man. I just like to see like more pierce and maybe even just more damage on these pieces, and especially health too. Health is like health and resist, like the stats are just so bad on the pieces of gear. I'm not gonna try to complain a lot here, but we really need stat improvements for these raid pieces. Because if Aeon gear gets better, why can't the raid gear get better? Basically, is my logic, right? Now, I know King Saw has changed the raid gear, I think 3 times now, so I think people are kind of sick of that. But again, I'm just kind of voicing, again, what the community feels about this, where they feel like raid gear is horrible now, and everybody's just, excuse me, running Aeon gear because there's no reason to run the raid gear, is basically my point here. And yeah, I would just really like to see better stats and have them, tuned and cranked up on the raid gear to compete with the Aeon gear a bit better. Obviously, the inaccessibility of raids are a huge deal. I've made videos about this on the channel before. They've done pretty well. But, I still feel like there's a lot of people out there who want to raid and they join a guild and then it doesn't go well, And I know a lot of my community, at least personally, has all their gear. We welcome in many people, taught them the raid. Now everybody's got their pet for PvP and stuff like that. But at least in my community, a lot of people don't really want to do it. There are a couple people, but I just feel like it's still not easy enough, And this goes back to my original raid video where I feel like crafting a raid key in general and then unlocking the portals is just way too much of a grind, If the barrier to entry wasn't so high with like the Azoth and the Zarthax, I feel like more people could just get into it and get more reps in. But what a lot of times happens is casual players will get in there and then mess up and then get kicked out because people are just, kind of mean in general. So I don't know, man. I do appreciate the fact that there is stuff to do and a little bit of a grind from KingsIsle, but at the same time, I think it could be toned down a bit to make it a little bit less tedious and a bit more accessible for the not the super casual player, but like the mid to casual player. And like I said at the start of the video here, there's really not much to go back in the raid for, Once I already got all my pets, once I got my nullity robe for my PvE builds and, maybe a nullity wand for PvP, those are pretty good with the new gear audit update they did as well. Once I got all that stuff, there's literally no reason to raid, You could raid to help people, but again, you have to get 12 people then, and then like it's a lot of work, and then it's like a lot of time, I feel like it's not enough incentive to even want to help people, and a lot of people are burnt out, and once they have all their gear, there's nothing much to play for. So that's why I would really like to see some like challenge system or more dynamic raids in general to keep them more fun and a little bit less formulaic for the long run of raids, obviously. But they could add, even more energy elixirs and P9s within the raids, like if the elf fight drops energy elixirs and P9s, or you always get one at the end of the raid, you could do that and, farm up potions to make a pet maybe. But as of right now, they're just extremely rare and you never come by them, so you never feel incentivized to want to farm it because the drop rate for those elixirs are pretty bad. So again, my point here is just, give us more incentive to want to raid, I really think that'd be extremely helpful in my opinion. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what y'all have to say about this in the comments below. What do you guys think should be done with raids? Do you think the first one was handled good? I'm honestly pretty excited for the next raid coming out this summer, I think the devs said. So I really am looking forward to that, and I do think they can innovate on this first raid. Again, my main criticisms would be make the drop rates better, make it a bit more accessible, and give us more reasons to come back for raids aside from just the gear, basically. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, a like and a sub is always appreciated, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.